especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never
way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Boxing insiders are raising serious alarms about Canelo Alvarez's physique ahead of his fight with Terence Crawford. Multiple pros are now openly accusing Canelo of using steroids, pointing to his sudden muscle gain and past failed PED tests. David Benavidez has also entered the conversation, questioning why Canelo consistently avoids facing him if he's truly the best. Benavidez goes further, alleging that 5 members of Canelo's team have tested positive for steroids. According to him, the entire camp is tainted, and that includes Canelo himself. These accusations are casting a long shadow over what's supposed to be a career-defining fight.
It's Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never got off
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does 5?
You saw De La Hoya
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said like he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about?" He's like, "Are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso's like, "Fuck no, we not fighting him."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, but okay, 100 million, dude. You kidding me?
The first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit. But it's always a prize, bro. It's always, if I go out there and beat Canelo, bro, I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of money.
And I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point. Like, how much you giving me?
Yeah. and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel as well.
Yeah, shout out to
Eddie Reynoso's gym is under fire. Accusations are swirling that Reynoso may be directly providing fighters in his camp with performance-enhancing drugs, and at the center of it all is Canelo Alvarez. Having already faced 2 previous steroid allegations, Canelo is once again under suspicion. Critics highlight that several of Reynoso's fighters have tested positive, which raises red flags about the integrity of the gym. As Canelo prepares for his mega clash with Terence Crawford, many are asking, how is he still packing on muscle at this speed, and at this age?
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not going to get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not. By 55 years old, I'm not. The only way I'm going to get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juicing.
Experts are sounding the alarm. Gaining large amounts of lean muscle naturally in your 30s is nearly impossible. Yet, Canelo Alvarez seems to be doing exactly that. His recent transformation is so dramatic that it's turning heads, not just among fans, but analysts too. With the long and controversial history of Reynoso's gym looming in the background, suspicions continue to grow. People are now questioning whether Canelo's muscular build is the result of elite training, or the quiet influence of PEDs manipulating the sport from behind the scenes.
If for a 30-year-old, right, you remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Joe Rogan's recent comments on Canelo Alvarez have exploded across the boxing world. As a respected voice in combat sports and peak physical performance, Rogan didn't hold back. He noted how unusual it is to see someone in their 30s gain muscle at such a rapid rate. Rogan made it clear, this kind of growth defies biology. According to him, natural muscle development slows drastically with age, and what Canelo is showing is not just rare, it's scientifically improbable. When someone with Rogan's platform and understanding of elite fitness raises suspicions, the entire sport listens.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them the fuck alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
With the Canelo versus Crawford showdown approaching fast, steroid accusations are growing louder. Analysts and fans alike say they wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Canelo was using performance-enhancing substances. Why? Because he has access to everything: elite doctors, state-of-the-art facilities, recovery tech, nutritionists, and more. Critics argue that when someone has unlimited resources and burning ambition, the temptation to cheat becomes very real. In their eyes, Canelo's environment makes it all too easy to take banned substances without ever getting caught.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to every.
Floyd Mayweather has never stayed silent, especially when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. He's called out the steroid issue more than once, saying the boxing world is simply too scared to address it. According to Floyd, there's a double standard in play. Some fighters get scrutinized relentlessly, while others, like Canelo, are protected because of their fame and financial value to the sport. Mayweather is blunt, Canelo benefits from favoritism. But more importantly, Floyd believes PED use is dangerous and undermines the entire foundation of boxing's credibility.
What we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
As tensions rise between the Crawford and Canelo camps, so do the steroid accusations, and this time, it's coming straight from the fans. Crawford supporters accuse Canelo of suspicious size and strength, while Canelo's backers raise eyebrows at Crawford's endurance and physical changes at a higher weight. The heat has become so intense that both fighters agreed to comprehensive drug testing ahead of the bout. Not just to satisfy officials, but to calm the public. This rare move speaks volumes. It shows just how shaken the boxing community is by PED speculation. The trust is broken, and both teams are now on defense.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random VADA testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately. Namely, Crawford sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been consistent.
Canelo Alvarez didn't always look like this. In his early career, he was leaner, faster, and clearly a natural welterweight. But over time, something changed, dramatically. Now, he's bulldozing bigger opponents with power that seems unnatural. The physical transformation is staggering, and it's causing waves of suspicion. Critics are asking the tough questions. How did he grow so much, so quickly, especially past the age when that kind of gain is expected to slow down? Some credit elite training. Others believe it's something far more questionable hiding beneath the surface.